Welcome back to today's morning report on Friday the 20th of May with me, Richard Perry, market analyst at Antec Markets. Let's look at cable now, and we've sort of had this little bit of a rolling over of cable in the last sort of day or so. Interesting because we've seen this sort of strong run of candles higher that just began to run out of a bit of steam. Still gains on the day yesterday, 46.07 was the close, but just today it's just rolled over and it's about sort of 40 ticks down from there. Nothing too significant. And I discussed in the morning report that it's basically seen a rally back to this big downtrend that was in place since August last year. And the rally that we saw in April never closed above that downtrend. And again, we've seen a rally that hasn't closed above that downtrend. So is this again the limit of that run higher? Is the question, I think, that is interesting. Because what we have seen is this rally in the last few days on cable with sterling strength, and the main sort of crux of that rally has been the fact that there was a Brexit poll and announced that suggested that the Remain camp were quite significantly in the lead still, hence the rebound in sterling. And I think that's going to be just a feature of this chart in the coming days and weeks, really, in the run up to the UK referendum on the 23rd of June, because I think you're going to see these near-term moves, and I think you could well see them constantly being retraced. I don't think you're going to get any real firm trending move on cable because of the uncertainty around the vote. So I think ultimately we could see a bit of profit taking on this move. Now, I sort of talked about the fact that on the hourly chart you've got this small top pattern, and you could still see it. It hasn't yet completed, you would argue. 45.60 was the low yesterday. That low hasn't been confirmed on an hourly basis. Yes, it sort of had an intraday sort of dip below, but a couple of times that sort of closed back above it on the hourly chart. So you'd want to see sort of probably a couple of hourly candles completing a move below that to sort of complete this pattern, and that would give you about 100 ticks actually from the high yesterday of 46.60 down to the low of 45.60. So you measure that 100 ticks down, it gives you 44.60. The initial support comes in with this breakout of 45.30, which was a pivot band breakout. So that's your initial line of support around this 45.30 mark. So you could still see a retracement continuing, and it seems to be the MACD lines and the stochastics and the RSI on the hourly are all suggesting lower highs. You've got a bear divergence there on the hourly RSI and the stochastics and the MACD line. So this correction isn't necessarily not to be unexpected, and I think sort of it could well be drawing cable back towards this old pivot around 144 to 144.50 area. I think that is perfectly possible, and again, that would be that would be sort of an implied target 44.60. So you're not a million miles off there with that target. So we could well be seeing a little bit of a near-term correction on cable, and that would be sort of continuing this choppy theme that we've got in recent weeks. No real trend, and back to that downtrend. I think you could well see that the profit taking comes in. So I wish you good luck in your trading today on cable, and I'll speak to you later. Thank you.